everyone, and thank you for joining us on this week's Turn of Events live interview series. I'm your host, Adelia Carrillo, CMO of eventhi. Turn of Events is an interview series where we interview the eventhi event host community so we all can get to know the talented individuals behind these events to talk about the event landscape, the unique experiences they are creating online and offline, and a few tips they have learned along the way. This week, I am so excited to have Mskindness joining us. Mskindness is a little bit about her, fueled by a desire to bring cannabis inclusive healthcare to the masses. Mskindness is not only her given name, but a calling. In 2012, a bad slip and fall during pregnancy left the former high school teacher riddled with chronic pain, until her academic lens and desire for natural healing led this bold mom to enter the cannabis space. Now an industry veteran, Mskindness is the CEO of Club Kindness Inc., EBK Apothecary, and Adjunct Faculty for the Los Angeles Community College District. She is currently manifesting her passion for cannabis education into the development of a series of programs for higher learning focused on business, history, and social equity. She's also the author of Our Very Special Garden, a children's book designed to help spark the canna conversation between parents and kids. Mskindness is a public speaker, educational consultant, podcast host, and community advocate, whose work has been featured by MJ Business, Dope Magazine, The Long Beach Post, Inland Daily News, and much more. She is a multi-passionate businesswoman, to say the least, and I am so honored that I'm able to not only be able to interview her, but also consider her a friend and someone I deeply look up to. So thank you, Mskindness, for joining us today.
Thank you, Adelia. I always love hearing you read my bio. I'm like, I'm going to trip her up right now.
I try.
Thank you for having me. Yeah.
Of course. So, first things first, I did speak a little bit about what brought you to cannabis, but if you can go into a little bit more detail around that journey and really how you found that connection with the plant.
Yeah, definitely. I think my story is like that of so many, and it's tied to pain and a desire and a need for healing. So there's a little bit in my bio. I was 26 weeks pregnant, and I slipped and I fell on a puddle in a grocery store, and I damaged my pelvis. And prior to that, I hadn't been a conscious cannabis consumer. I certainly didn't have the knowledge and the science that I now have. I was completely misled, to be honest. And so when I researched remedies, for chronic pain, cannabis was like 3 pages on Google. I always joke and say, I asked Siri, how do I heal my body naturally? And there was this rabbit hole that opened up that I went down, and I'd say the rest is history. So pain, suffering, and seeking a desire to heal.
Yeah. Now, so you had the journey. Was EBK already evolved before this without the cannabis component? What were you doing in your professional career outside of teaching?
Yeah, so I have a diverse career history in that, as I was going to college as an adult, young adult, I got heavy into marketing and became a young professional, really, even before finishing college. And then fell into large-scale fundraising, and I worked for national organizations, Planned Parenthood, American Lung Association. I raised millions of dollars for these orgs in their development department. And then once I graduated from college, this realization that I could finally be the teacher that I had always wanted to be hit me, because I finally had the degree, right? And so then I just up and went to graduate school and became a teacher. And so I took about 8 years of career experience with me into teaching, which was really unique. I was an older graduate student, and I had some life experience under my belt. So No, succinctly, EBK was nowhere on the radar until this incident happened. I had the slip and fall, and then, sought cannabis. And really, first there was club kindness, because it became about me having to advocate for myself. I learned, so much about cannabis and used it to heal my own body just from this is one of the conflicts with, doing virtual events, right? There's the dog barking.
It's okay.
I think we're going to talk about what's different with virtual events. That's one of the things.
Out of our control.
Yes. So I hope that's not super disruptive. You can still hear me okay?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, good.
You can hear it a little, but you can hear you loud and clear. We're good.
Good. So he'll stop in a minute. Something's getting dropped off, because that's another thing that's happening during the COVID. A lot of packages get dropped off at your house. Where were we? Gosh, where were we?
So EBK.
What was I doing before? Yeah, yes. EBK was born after, and it was because there was really a need for a responsible product, and I saw that after I became this sort of consultant, talking with other mothers and people about how to use cannabis through club kindness, and recommending or suggesting products that I myself was having to go and look for and find. And then realized, hey, why don't I use all of these wonderful connections I've made to create something that I feel is responsible?
And so how did that evolve into hosting your own cannabis events and unique experiences?
Well, the way we initially started to bring the product line and the services of Club Kindness to consumers was in their homes via these events that we still call Kind Socials. So we host anywhere from 3 to 30 people and do this, 101 history of cannabis, the uses of cannabis. I feel like I need to stop him from barking, right?
If you want, you can. Yeah, we're live. I'm good. We're good. You can go.
This is the reality, right?
Yeah, this is the reality. We're going to be talking about tips and tricks, so we'll get.
Oh, that's great, because I need it right now. Like, don't come to my door. Can you please get him? Can you please get him now? Up front, I asked my daughter I would pay her if this package came to keep the dog quiet. She has just been sitting in her room on this device, letting the dog bark. Now she comes out and she gets up.
She heard you. She heard you get enough.
Yeah. Let's do this. Okay, so let's talk about those tips and tricks later. But anyways, I think the Kind Socials has really they've been the staple of our business, of our entire model. And that's how we would reach a clientele. That's how we would do the consumer education. And then that's how we would introduce our products and a whole myriad of other products. And they're very personal. They're in the home. It was with like mom and sister and aunt, like a Tupperware party, right? Yeah. And they were learning something new. And at the time before 64, we started back in 2014, 15, that's when we were a lot more liberal. So we would make edibles, people would consume them, and then we would be there for that experience. I would guide them through what they were feeling. And so everything's changed now because I can't go into people's houses.
Yeah.
Now all in the internet.
Well, and that's the thing, which brings us up to the next question. How are you handling this transition personally, and then how did you incorporate it to your business?
Yeah, I am really, really, really grateful. I know that there are a myriad of feelings happening globally right now. And I've seen a lot of pain. And I'm the kind of person, and you know this because we're friends, that I will focus on what's good always, because that's what you call to you via that process. So I'm really, really good. I am grateful. The transition for me has not been that challenging, because I already worked from home for the most part, with the exception of going to campus to teach my college classes. They moved them to online. So I did miss that student interaction, because that's really important, especially with the population that I'm working with. But my home office is here. Our warehouse is like 2 miles away, which is like another home. So it was not a big deal for me to be safe at home. I am an extrovert. I do like people. So what I have done is been on the phone a lot more, having conversations. Like normally I won't talk on the phone because I'll say, let's get together, let's have a happy hour, let's talk and commune. So I'm on the phone now, which is very, very new for me. I answer the phone now. But yeah, in the business, the transition has been very unique. I've had to get with it with some tech. You'll notice like there's some landscape behind me. You might see that there's light shining on me. This sort of infrastructure I had to set up because I realized I had to take the business online. I needed to move with this. I have children to feed. I have a family. And there was a little bit of time, like I sulked a little bit. I was like, what are we going to do? Oh my God, the COVID. That was like 24, 48 hours. That's pretty much, that's what I give myself. And then it was like, okay, like what are the next steps for us and our family? And it was kind of fun, like being at home, shopping online, ordering, all of these things I needed to take the business online. So now we just do consultations a little bit differently.
How have you noticed that your customer base, are they, obviously they're learning with you, have you had to incorporate more like education when it comes to just even using, the software or little things like that?
Absolutely. Prior to, this safe at home order, we would give a menu. They would literally check like the items they wanted on their menu for the Kind Socials. Mm-hmm. We would facilitate their invitations by just saying, give us an email list and we'll send it out and you'll see. Now I'm literally having to explain the technology. Like, this is how you log on. Do you have Zoom? We use a couple of different platforms, Google Meet or Zoom, just depending on, the client. But yeah, tech has been the greatest challenge. We still have, once we get on a screen and we're looking at each other, we have the same connection. I love the ability to now share my screen, so it's like a presentation right there, whereas before we'd have to take it into the home and drag it out and have, I'm still learning, like, we haven't had a large one yet. I haven't done more than a family of 4 in this period. So I'm really looking forward to doing some more virtual events with other parts of Club Kindness around the book and other things that are coming up, where I have to engage in a greater way with a larger community. Like there's breakout rooms or there's chats going on. And so I'm kind of excited about geeking out and learning that stuff. And I'll be calling you a lot for that. So.
Well, and I think too, the one thing is for our viewers that are listening and watching, like now you have the opportunity to actually schedule these consultations and these events with anyone throughout the world now, instead of being limited.
Yeah.
So this is a really good opportunity to be able to provide education and knowledge elsewhere.
It's huge. It's huge. And it's one of the reasons why we're really, really building now what we're calling Kind School on the Club Kindness member portal, because I see this opportunity for me to now really expand into the curriculum and program building that I've always set out to do. This gave me time. It was like, now you have to be at home. Emotionally, it wasn't so difficult because I already work from home. Mm-hmm. The transition was, now you don't have anywhere to go. So you have to stay at home, right? You cannot go with your friend for brunch. Like forget the girl time, like you have to stay home. So I felt, how silly would I be to just like sit around and gain 40 pounds? I mean, that's the easiest thing to do. Yeah. So after the moping for 48 hours, it just was something to put into motion.
Now, I mentioned earlier you launched a book. So first, congratulations. This is an exciting moment. The first series of this book, right?
The first book in a series.
The first book in a series. It is also, for those that didn't hear the introduction, it is called Our Very Special Garden. It's a children's book designed to help spark the canna conversation between parents and kids. Now, how did the vision and passion for storytelling evolve throughout this book, and what do you hope happens when other families share this book with their kids?
So, I mean, the same little people, or one of the little people in the book, who brought me to cannabis through, her being in my belly and me having to fight to protect her. is one of the inspirations for this book. I have two children, Micah and Minia, and the story is very loosely based on like our family. It's really it's a reflection of our lifestyle. As you go through the experience with the family, they're the root family. You're with them and you feel it. So we already live that lifestyle. And I think one day my son said, Mom, like we should tell a story about this. I don't remember, but it was him that did this. And I wrote the book about a year ago. So this is another manifestation of COVID, because I was at home. I was like, why don't I finish all these freaking projects? And it just got reactivated. I finished it. I went back, did some editing, sent it to a couple of different editors, and really said, okay, I'm set on this. Interviewed a couple of illustrators, found an amazing illustrator, Erica Presuel. She is just bringing it to life with these vibrant characters and colors, and really embracing our family and the story and how we live. So I don't know, my children inspired me. The world inspired me. And what I hope is that people will read it as a family. So it's written for 8 to 12, right? That's the age group that we tested. But I read it to large groups, both in an advanced release, and grandmothers loved it. There's vocab in it. We have a glossary in the end. And again, it's really about following this family in their story. So you engage with them in that way. It's not about weed in a sense. It's about gardening and healthy living.
Yeah. Oh, that's so exciting. I can't wait. And actually, people can also special order the books, right? And get their hands on copies.
So you can pre-order now. We're going to, myself and Erica will sign the first 100 copies. So if you go to Mskindness.com or rootfamilybooks.com, you can pre-order now. We'll be shipping all of those end of this month. So it's pretty exciting. And they're on sale if you do it now. So, and a portion of our proceeds, we just partnered with the Social Impact Center, which I think, I know you're going to ask me some questions about events and what some things we can change. But this is something that we really are passionate about, making sure that we're responsible with any money that we make, right? So we've decided to give a portion of every book sale to the Social Impact Center as well.
Wow, that's exciting. That is good to know. That's exciting for that partnership. So with the book launch, you're also going to be doing a few virtual book launch events. Can you share a bit about those?
Yeah, I'm actually really excited to work with you on this, eventhi.io, because I am a newbie in this, but I have this vision of how we now, originally I wanted to be sitting in like bookstores and signing books and reading to children, this book all across America, right? In fact, the story is set in Brownsville. And Brownsville was really an inspiration just because this is about a brown family, right? This is a Black indigenous family of color farming cannabis in their backyard, growing fruit and vegetables and talking and communing and shopping as a family and really showing that normalization. And so I just picked Brownsville. Really, it was that silly. And then I Googled and I saw Brownsville, Texas, and I saw where it sits and how it's right on the border of Texas and Mexico, next to Ramirez, Mexico, which is just so cool. And which is my last name, everyone. And
all aligned.
So check this out. Somebody buys the book from Texas, from Brownsville. She sends me an email and she's like, "Are you from Brownsville? Because I'm from Brownsville and I can't wait to read this book." And just all these really cool things have come from this experience. And so I want to take a virtual book tour to cities like I would if I were in those cities. And I want to do that through these sort of regional, I'm going to read to you. You can talk with me, ask me questions. I can sign the book right there live like I would if I were handing it to you, but I'll be handing it to a person to put into a shipping container. And then you'll go out to the breaking room and you'll give them your address. I mean, I really want to make this something unique. And then I think we'll need to front load. So this is all coming, y'all. So make sure you pay attention. We'll need to front load, right? How do we make events different now? How do we make them more engaging? We have to give them something to do, maybe ahead of time, right? I'm hosting a fundraiser for a city council candidate in 2 weeks. We're doing mimosas with Miranda, so we're telling everyone to have your champagne and orange juice ready. And then every 40 minutes, we have an engaging activity for people to want to log on for. So, we got to keep it fresh. We got a lot of time sitting at home to come up with creative ideas.
Exactly. Now, so what is your favorite thing about hosting events?
Ooh, so I'm a teacher, right? I love watching things develop in front of me. And relationships are everything. So I love having people come together, especially if it's something, I was a part of creating and making happen. It feels so good, like you're contributing to something good in the world. And then you see people engaging and interacting, and then you see them maybe a month or two later, and they're friends, or they've created something together, or they're starting to build some project, Then you were really, truly a part of putting some good, energetic presence out there. So I love events for that reason. I like people. I actually really, really like humans. So a lot of people watching this are thinking, I hate people. And I know that. So I know that there are all kinds of, but I really love humans. So for me, just getting the opportunity to meet people who think differently, who've had unique experiences, and who are willing to share them is like better than anything. I always say God didn't put us here with 7 billion people to not get to know
Connect.
A lot of them.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Find your tribe, find your humans.
Absolutely.
So we kind of been tapping into it throughout the conversation. Hosting virtual events are completely different than in-person events. Over the past few months, what learning lessons have you learned, or what tips would you like to share with the event host community?
Yeah. So engagement. Like that is something that you've really been helpful with, because we planned my birthday party, and that was kind of like I do big birthday parties every year. It's like a really big deal. And I had this whole masquerade thing planned, and then we all had to literally wear masks. So we kind of built that into the theme. So I think now while we had these elaborate and beautiful in-person events before, theme was always important. But now it's about taking that theme and using it to really engage the consumer or the attendee, because they don't have to sit in front of the screen. They could just put it on and walk away. So, or not even log on, or be on their phone and have earbuds on. So what are activities that someone can do on the go, and how are you making sure they're staying engaged? I talked a little bit a minute ago about front loading and telling them something to do up front, so they're getting ready for something, because it's just so different now.
Your birthday was great. That was like a really unique experience, because you're right, you laid it out, and every was it 30 minutes or half an hour or hour, you had something, and you got them excited.
People were excited. Yeah. And we did what she's talking about, you guys. Sorry you weren't invited to my birthday party next year, but what she's talking about is people had to log in at certain times, because I was like, I'm going to have a contest at 4:20, or we're going to do all my smokers come at 4:20, right? If you don't smoke, you can come and take a shot. Do whatever you want. I even had a vapor in that game, right? But then we had, at this time, we're going to do a scavenger hunt game. So some people left, came back, and this was over 4 hours. And so it was a lot of fun, just giving them something to do. And then I was sending out messages in between saying, don't forget this, texting at the same time. There was, now that I think about it, as the host, I think we feel a little bit more stressed, because we feel the need to manage the tech, manage the relationships, be engaged with the people at the event. So there is that additional stress. But I think we feel that walking through an in-person event too, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Different parts of the brain are being used. And then we have this whole frequency thing going on with tech. But it was so much fun. And that really set the stage for me to feel confident to really do this for the virtual book tour. So I'm really excited.
Yeah, there's so much opportunity that even just mentioning it, because we've talked, obviously, we've spoken about your book tour, but even just what you said now, I have all these other new ideas of, okay, we need to try to find Facebook groups that are book clubs and, local bookstores and all these, so.
We're coming to your hometown in the
internet. Now, why do you believe events are vital specifically for the cannabis industry?
So I'm mad at cannabis right now. I'm really mad at cannabis. I mean, obviously we know what's going on in the world and especially in the U.S. and the state of our nation, and the many challenges we're having, frankly, for our Black Indigenous community and what's going on. Cannabis is like the thing that was used to replace slavery, and so we have these companies right now just not taking it seriously, and we have an opportunity to be at the forefront of post-prohibition. And we really should be taking our signals from the plant. Like, it's a community plant. Mm-hmm. Its molecular synergy works perfectly when it works together, and we're not getting those cues. And so events are vital because that's the way we reach the consumer. What needs to happen in those events? There needs to be a complete ascension to, and I mean leveling all the way up. Like, I want to see an alignment with some sort of cause with every single event. I want to see a recruitment of volunteerism from communities that are underserved. I want to see new programming coming into these events. Like, there is this absolutely educational piece at every single event. I mean, we have to be more responsible. And so, like you said, now we can reach anyone globally with our message. Yeah. And that's a double-edged sword. So these cannabis events, they need to level up in the internet, right? And then when we get back out, that model needs to continue. Exactly. We need to see diverse staffing. I mean, it's a lot needs to change. This system isn't broken, right? It was built this way. It was doing exactly what it was designed to do. So we have an opportunity to take cannabis and do something right with it and create a much, much better system.
I agree 100%. I think you bring up a good topic, and even I've had those moments where you go to these conferences, they invite you, and you are invited to speak on a diversity panel. But I have a stronger background in so many other topics. It doesn't just need to be about diversity. Yes, I'm happy to talk about it, but why am I not on that other, maybe on that panel instead, where instead of it's all, older white gentlemen or whatever it may be.
And that's the thing. It's like, we want you to, Black women in cannabis. Okay, that is maybe a necessary panel or a necessary event of its own, but that needs to be put on by Black women. If you're going to do this, you're right. Like, I should be sitting on the tech committee. I shouldn't be sitting on the Latinas in Tech committee. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it's just diversify it. You want there to be equity, just do it. Equity means equity. It means that there are people in tech who look different ways. Put all of those people up there. Exactly. And so there's this idea that we need to highlight. And then, I think our allies feel like we're damned if we do, we're damned if we don't. And these are just the conversations we need to keep having.
Exactly. And comfortable conversations allow us all to grow.
Absolutely.
And reaching
out.
Like
a weed.
Yeah.
Grow like a weed.
Yes. So, with this transition, we have your book tour coming up. You've been able to move your business to these virtual events or these virtual meetings online. I guess, what was the most humbling experience through this all? Whether it was personally or within your business? Was it that you just were able to finally slow down and really look at everything and piece it all together? Or, where do you see it?
Yeah. So my husband is a massage therapist. He's truly a healer. Shout out to AR Massage Services. But it was painful, which is what was humbling. And I'll explain it, because basically when COVID hit and the safe at home order was given and our schools closed, all of his month and a half of clients canceled. And so that's a significant amount of income. And that was the 48-hour depression, like, oh my God, what are we going to do? And so something happened in mama, like, kick in, you know what I mean? And that motivation provoked like humility, like, okay, you can at any moment lose a lot, and that'll check you, right? And I know a lot of people felt that. And we were fortunate to be able to recover quickly because I just moved into that gear and had an existing business that I sort of just started to change the marketing around. But that just getting slapped like that, like, whoa, how much savings do you have? Can you sustain this? Like, what if this, what else can we do to make money? What else can you do? This is his profession. He's not going to do something else. He's not going to change. So how can he take the skills he has and turn them into something online? Like now we've got him doing like teaching, massage and self-massage and techniques and body work. And, you've got to evolve.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely that blow was humbling. And that was both personal and professional.
Now, where can viewers learn more about you or about your book? I know you mentioned Mskindness, the website before, but if you can please say all the websites everywhere.
I mean, honestly, I'm so excited. We finally, with the book launch, we finally got Mskindness.com finished and redesigned. We'll be adding some more layers, ways that people can, book me for a consultation or set up a coaching session with me. But it's up and it's beautiful and it's Mskindness.com. It's super easy and you can get the book there. You can link to Club Kindness from there. You can link to EBK Apothecary from there. You can, again, schedule some time with me. I mean, so it's doing what it's supposed to do. Go and pre-order the book before July 18th and you get 10% off. Mskindness.com.
And then stay tuned for the book launches coming to a city near you.
That's coming. Yeah, actually, we need to talk about that because I'd like to do, one, we'll see how it works, but we're going to do a sort of series and we'll kind of tailor it for the communities and bring it to people like where they are, right? Make them feel like we're where they are.
Yeah, perfect. Well, do you have any final words for the viewers tuning in or any advice?
Oh, man, take a moment or few or many every day to deeply breathe in. That is so, so, so important. I meditate every single day. Take moments throughout the day to just take deep breaths. I mean, it sounds like, oh, I've heard that a million times, but until you start doing it, you don't know how powerful it is.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, thank you again for joining us today. I can't wait for us to mastermind about your upcoming book launch tour. I can't wait to read the book and share it even with my nieces and nephews, and it's going to be really exciting. Again, we appreciate all that you do. And thank you all for tuning in today and joining us on this episode of Turn of Events. For those that are looking to learn more about the latest upcoming events, definitely check out www.eventhi.io, and we will see you guys soon.